liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Brian. The adoption of the agenda. Anita,
Chairman, I move we adopt the agenda as is.
I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Mr. Vanderbilt, second by Anna, to approve the agenda of Wednesday, October the 11th, as presented and recommended by Danitza. Objections? Motion carries. Item 4, the call to the public. Danitza?
There is no call to the public at this time.
Okay, we'll move on to item 5, discussion items. 5, number 1, Sonoita Library Building Update. Juan Valderas from Los Angeles and Mary Dahl.
Good morning. So is there some, is it one of the projector ones? There's already something.
So just, you want to just pull that one down.
Pull it down.
Is there, okay.
So I'm just gonna kind of give you guys a quick update and just show you guys some pictures of the progress that has been happening in Sonoita. Sorry, I'm blind here. Gonna bring this up. So 2 weeks ago, we had Marsh Development start the demo process of the Sonoita building, that including the library section, as you can see here. So this is the south side of the building, kind of where you would kind of come in to the old courthouse, to the old courtroom, and that used to be the library. We have opened it up all the way to those offices that used to be in the corner, which was the sheriff's department and the judge's chambers, right? So we have opened all that up, and that's going to be kind of the space where the new library is going to kind of get situated. So this is kind of closer to those kind of swinging doors that you would kind of walk towards the bathroom. That's the view. And that was the main entrance that the patrons would use or will use to kind of come into the library. So this is a view from, if you're kind of familiar with the library, this is from the kitchen kind of view out into the library. So just to kind of show you guys the progress of what's kind of happening. So these pictures are from yesterday. So we were there yesterday. They're currently removing all the popcorn from the ceiling and installing the new heating and cooling system around the building. And this is just another picture from that used to be the judge's chambers. With me today, I also have Mary and Tracy. Tracy is our facilities foreman for the county. So I just wanted to give him a shout out because he's been our eyes and ears out there. He's the person that will also eventually be in charge of maintaining the building. But he's kind of been the person that if we have any kind of facilities questions, that he kind of guides us through those questions. So it's a brief update. Again, we're on schedule to finish by the end of the year-ish at this point. So we're on schedule. We did run into a few change orders, but we have come to some resolution to those. So that's kind of where it stands.
Do you or Mary have an update on the internet connection?
Yes. So they're actually out there today. They're actually, from what I'm being told, is finishing the project. I know I've been told this before. We've been in communication with the
CenturyLink?
Well, at the state, at the, is it the Corporation Commission? You know, we've talked to them, but Lumen and CenturyLink is just a large company that, you know, our complaints just kind of get filed away, I guess. But hopefully we're making progress so they're out there today, doing some work on there. So the equipment has been delivered. It's just them rerouting it into the building and getting that circuit up and running. So we're hopeful that by the time the building is complete, the internet will also be operable at that point.
Okay, Anna?
Nothing.
Brianna?
Nothing.
Marva? Jerry?
Nothing.
Mr. Vanderbilt?
Thank you. Yeah, my comment is don't take anything from Illum CenturyLink for granted. And we've been here before, right?
Yes.
Like 5 years. So follow up, call tomorrow and make sure that they do what they say. You got to, you got to keep after these people. We've learned our lesson, and we're doing this for the residents of Sonoyta. We're not doing this for you or me. We're doing this for the constituents of this county and the taxpayers, and it really behooves the county to stay on top of it.
Yeah, no, we request meetings and we try to meet with them. Again, they shuffle representatives on us. You know, we one month we have one representative, one account manager. The next month we have another one. So we gotta, have to explain it to them. And I mean, Mary was there yesterday. I was on the phone with them yesterday. Stressing the importance of this. But again, again, shout out to Marsh, because they're a local contractor and they've been also great to work with. We've had change orders, and selecting. I know Mary and Denitza have gone through some selection of some of the tile and colors and things like that, and Marsh has been accommodating to that. But CenturyLink it's another, different situation. But yeah.
Don't let up, please.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I can only hope the one day Cox Communications will be in Santa Cruz County.
Yeah.
Okay, Tracy, do you have anything you want to add? Mary?
The only other thing I'd like to add, in addition to Denitza being available almost immediately to make some of these decisions jointly, we have to pick paint now.
That's fine. Let's go.
And the county's preference is cottage white. Is that okay with everybody? Cottage white? All right, I'll just for consistency. But anyway, yes, we need to pick some paint. But thank you all. And I was telling Board Member Vanderbilt, it's what makes this exciting, I think, for all of us is your enthusiasm and the staff enthusiasm for this project. That's what makes it
Good.
fun. And so, yay, we're doing something really positive. So.
And thank the three of you for all your hard work and positive attitude of keeping us informed of what's going on, though. We're very grateful for all of your efforts. And Juan, for you coming down from Los Angeles to give us updates.
Napa.
Napa. Okay, Napa. All righty.
All right.
We're going to move on now. You'll be here. Will all of you be here for our next meeting in October?
This is October 2nd.
I mean, November
November
8th.
maybe.
Maybe, but Mary, you and Tracy will be here?
I think I will be available.
Okay. CNC. Okay, very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll now move on to item 2, the Centennial Time Capsule presentation. Mr. Hernandez has notified me he's stuck at a construction project right now. So if he wasn't able to make it, I told him we would just go ahead and table. So I'll entertain a motion to table item 2 on the discussion item. Motion by Ana Don. Second by Barbara Thwaites to table item 2 on the agenda under discussion. Discussion? Objections?
Discussion.
Discussion?
Is that all right with you, Denitza, that we table this to the next meeting as your time frame?
Yes, and he's going to email me information about the time capsule, and as soon as he does, I will email that all too. I will email all that to you.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? Objections? Motion carried. Item 3, Hope Inc. Presentation. Hope Inc. Luis Gazziola. Luis, welcome.
Thank you, and thank you for having me. Good morning to everybody. My name is Luis Gagiola. I am the site coordinator for Hope Incorporated. And I'm here just to give a presentation on who we are, what we do in the community. So our name is Hope Incorporated, and we are a behavioral health agency. We're a peer and family ran organization. Basically, peer and family, a peer is somebody who gives and receives services. So in other words, is somebody who completely identifies and knows about recovery and the behavioral health aspect, right? So our mission is to deliver recovery-based community services using empathy. That's where the peer kind of comes into play, right? For example, I will share with you guys, me personally, I have struggled with depression, anxiety, CPTSD, but my biggest trouble has been substance misuse. I was an addict for 18 years and recovering for 5 now, December 28, 2017. Which now I work in the field and able to help others come out of their struggle with addiction, right? And everybody that works at Hope identifies as a peer as well, or direct as family support, right? So our vision is to create an environment that empowers members to make their own choices about their recovery journey to achieve this vision and the creation of Hope dynamics, which means at the end of the day, we're trying to make them independent and not dependent of the system, right? So like I said, we're a peer and family organization. We're building member resiliency. We focus on trauma-informed care and an integrated health when it comes to mental and physical. These are some of the services that we provide, life skills training. And again, because it's not just an addiction that we work with, it's everything from general mental health to SMI, serious mental illness. And well, addiction falls into place. So we cover all aspects, right? So teaching them like life skills, for example, as simple as, well, it could be simple to some, but like starting bank accounts, setting doctor's appointments, cooking, shopping, anger management, just because emotions could be a trigger for multiple mental health, struggles. Stress management, work skills. So we do have an employment specialist that works directly with the members. Oh, we call them members because we work on trauma-informed care. So we use trauma-informed care language, right? So we say members because it's kind of like, well, because we're a peer and family ran organization, it's kind of like welcome to the club of recovery. So we all identify as equals. So the employment specialist does help them in like building up their resume, kind of coaching them on the community resources from like workforce to anything that's work related, right? And we will assist them as well if needed to go with them to interviews and kind of be there for them to kind of cope with their anxiety. Health and wellness, because again, it's an overall perspective of recovery, which means not just from mental, but physical as well, because they go side by side. Relapse prevention, information and referral services. So we do identify that some of the service or some of the needs that the community is meeting, we can't provide, but we can direct them to the agency that can. For example, like if it comes to like medications, we don't work with medications. We will guide them into the system, like introduce them to Penal Hispanic. We'll introduce them to Mariposa Behavioral Health Services, Intermountain, and sometimes it's medically assisted treatment as well. Medically assisted treatment is medication-based treatment to help with like withdrawals for like opiates, being that like opiates is one of the hardest, recovery to make. We do have a mobile outreach service. So for example, say if sometimes parents will come in and say like, I have a family member who's struggling with mental health or addiction. Would you mind reaching out to them? And obviously with the approval of the person, we will go over there and just kind of like, okay, look, this is what we do, and kind of try to motivate them to engage in services. And we also provide transportation services. So it's from their house to the center and back home. And in some cases, some of the members, again, just the anxiety or whatever, like might want assistance with taking them to an appointment, like a doctor's appointment, and they ask for direct support from one of our staff. We'll go with them and sit with them in the appointment and kind of help them understand what is being said by the doctor. We have a PACT, which is Peer and Aftercare Team. basically like when somebody goes to treatment, whether it's like Sonora Behavioral Health, due to a crisis, or when they're coming out of rehab, and as well as when they're coming out of the system, for example, prisons or county, the PACT team member will help them make sure that all their needs are being met, from physical to, again, like doctor's appointments, making sure they have their IDs, their birth certificates, and everything that they need to continue to succeed outside and adjust into the community. The criminal justice services that we provide, for example, is we're directly engaged with recovery court and behavioral health court here in Santa Cruz County. So we are the recovery aspect of it, right? So we provide the services needed to meet the goals that they set for themselves, as well as being like, again, part of the warm handoff when they're coming out of prison or coming out of county jail. We do work side by side with Nogales Police Department, as well as the Nogales Fire Department. This is some of our staff, right? We have peer support specialists, Karina, providing direct services from groups for substance and some general mental health. Jacob Rodriguez, SOR, stands for State Opioid Response. So what Jacob does is they don't have to be a member in order for us to engage with them. Say, for example, he'll drive around the community, and if he sees somebody, again, because we're peers, we know how to identify the symptoms of substance use, we'll stop and just kind of, hey, how you doing? Are you, first needs, food, water, shelter, and then we'll try to motivate them to seek recovery. And then like little by little kind of get them engaged so they can start working on themselves. Andrea Ortiz is a peer support specialist. Again, she will be providing services like in a group setting, because we do some group counseling. Monica as well. Yolanda is the outreach specialist, which she can help within the center. Like some of the members will stop engaging. We kind of go out and outreach, or as well as like community events. Like right now, the event coming at Nogales High School, like Yolanda's right there providing the information to the community.
Good job.
Marina is a housing navigator. So we work with the homeless population and assisting them to obtaining housing. Talina is a peer navigator, Edelmira is a peer navigator, and Alfonso is a peer navigator, which they focus on doing intakes. So doing like a behavioral health assessment, kind of assessing like kind of where they're at, what symptoms they're experiencing, and then offering the services that could assist them with their goals. And they also work on a service plan, which they themselves, it's basically goals that they set for themselves. I'm sorry. Donna is the PAC team. So that's the team member that helps them when they're coming out of, hospitals or institutions. Rosa Lopez is the site director. She's in charge of the whole center, and I'm the coordinator. These are some of the centers that we have through Arizona. So from Douglas, Nogales, Tucson, Sierra Vista, Yuma, Camp Verde, Cottonwood, and Prescott. And these are some of the community resources that we use. One of the biggest barriers that we see is for substance treatment, like detox, residential treatment, sober livings. So we do refer out of county mainly to Pima County, but we also work with Cochise County as well, like CBI Benson. But these are just some of the resources that we utilize. One of the ways that we also work in the community, for example, is we're part of consortium and collision teams. So we're part of SOSA consortium, which is Santa Cruz County Overcoming Substance Abuse. And I'm also the chair for Santa Cruz County Drug-Free Collision, which is kind of how we tied up with the library. Again, being that we're peers, we identified that in the library, there's a lot of substance use. So a lot of the community who are struggling with addiction, right now at the moment, like that's one of the hubs where people go. That's one of the hubs where they're meeting up. So there's a lot of activity going on from the use to the selling to the buying. So when we started to notice it, being engaged with the Santa Cruz County Drug-Free Coalition, that's directly involving Circles of Peace. Channing Velasquez, great work that he's doing as well, side by side with us. We created a cleanup crew, right? Because, well, I have kids as well, and my kids love to read and they like to go to the library. And it's like, well, how safe could it be if there's a lot of use, right? So me and Channing went and we kind of did a walkthrough outside and just looked at the ground, and we started noticing a lot of paraphernalia, from foil papers, straws. We recently started seeing syringes. So from the collision, what we did is we did a cleanup crew where we're trying to go more than once, but right now we've been going once a month, doing the sharps container, gloves, and everything, and just cleaning up everything that we see and collecting it. As well as, so something that we also did is we installed a Narcan box. So Narcan is the reversal for opiates, right? Just because, so there's a couple of these boxes installed in Santa Cruz County, right? There's one at the Hope Center, there's one on Western, there's one at Circles of Peace, now there's one at the library. And shortly after we installed it at the library, there was an overdose at the library. From reports is that they grabbed some of the Narcan that was there and was able to provide it and actually assist with the, basically of the reversal of the opiate. So Hope and me and myself, where we come into play as well there is anytime there's an overdose, the fire department, after they've reversed it, they call me. And I will direct it to the correct staff, usually like Jacob, myself, or another substance team. And we will go out to the person who overdosed and try to motivate them to seek treatment, because we know that statistically speaking, as soon as they leave the hospital, they're going to go out and use again. And the numbers of another overdose are super high. In this case, we actually did make contact with the person who overdosed at the library. They wanted treatment. They weren't medically cleared, so we were to pick them up the next day at 8 in the morning. And when we went to the hospital, he left. So our SOR team, which is cool, that's what I like about the SOR, went back to the center. We staffed it with Rosa, and we're like, go out to the community, just look for him, see if you can find them. Where do we find them? At the library. So we're like, hey, here you are again, and with no recollection of like what happened. And so once with the reminder, we asked like, hey, you were willing to go to treatment yesterday. Are you willing to go right now? And he said, you know what? Yes, let's go. And he's actually currently right now in treatment. So the library was a huge role in saving another life, and actually the person wanting treatment. So Narcan, just a quick brief, it's a medicine to stop the effects of an opioid overdose, right? So it's basically, it's an opiate blocker, right? And it rips out the opiates from the system to where you can come back to life and kind of, okay, that's where we kind of come into it. It is a temporary stop, right? Because it does wear off. The beautiful thing about Narcan is that if you don't know if it's an opiate overdose or any other substance overdose, it doesn't harm anybody. So just give it to them if you suspect it, right? Some of the symptoms that we say to, the first thing you want to do is identify, like, is this an overdose? You'll notice symptoms, for example, blue lips, blue fingernails, like shallow breathing. Actually, one of the big things where people mistake it is, oh, they're just sleeping, because you hear snoring. But the thing is that there's air coming out, but it's not coming back in. So you're going to hear some snoring. Obviously, they won't respond to the shaking. And we always say, if you suspect it, give the Narcan. There's multiple forms of Narcan. There's the intramuscular, which will go on the side of the leg. But the most popular one right now, and we're so blessed for the Arizona Department of Health Services, is that they've been giving the nasal, which is a lot easier. Because the injection, you have to pull out, the syringe and prepare everything, and then administer. While this, it's going to be a box. You pull it up, grab it, you spray. Put it to the nose and spray, right? After you sprayed, we say put them in the recovery position to the side, call 911. From there, 911 are huge assistants that will help you navigate through the rest, right? We always say give the Narcan first because time is of the essence, right? Another beautiful thing about Narcan is you can't overdose from it. You're not going to get a high from it or nothing. It's just a block. So I do want to address some of the things I kind of already discussed how to administer Narcan, right? Some of the myths about Narcan is, well, we're a small community and sometimes we don't understand things, so we have our own beliefs, right? And I say we because, me, myself, and even my family, like in the beginning, had some like stigmas to it. It's kind of like, well, you're just enabling them to continue to use, right? But the big stigma about that is that Narcan actually does save lives. If we wouldn't have the Narcan and provide it to some of these, recovering addicts now or people who are still struggling, they overdose and die, there's no chance. There's no chance for recovery. And to be quite honest with you, I've been Narcaned twice. So I've overdosed twice. And again, just so you can see that, like, it's not an enable, it's giving them the possibility to actually recover and do something with their lives, and comes, again, for the peer perspective myself. If I would have been given Narcan, I would have died, and I wouldn't have been able to give back to this community. Other than that, I mean, we are of huge support to the whole community and to every single one of you guys. Being that we have outreach teams, if anyone were to ever need some assistance, you can just call us directly. I have some cards with me as well. I'll provide it to you guys. You can call the center, you can call me, you can call Rosa. Just kind of state what's going on, and we will definitely go out and be of support to you guys. Any questions or?
You concluded, Luis?
Huh?
You've concluded?
Yes, I'm sorry, I concluded.
Well, thank you, Luis. Your presentation was very powerful and informative. I think this mental health aspect right now is extremely important, not only in our community, but across our country right now. Ana?
Oh, that was powerful. So I just want to make sure that we don't scare families away from the library.
Right.
And so thank you. When you're talking about the library, is it mostly outside the library when the library is closed?
Honestly, it's during the whole day, and I would not honestly, I wouldn't fear. I mean, not in fear in the perspective of like they'll harm you, just in the fear like an overdose, right? But no, it happens.
Well, I'm thinking of the children, parents that have their kids at the library.
Right. No, honestly, I mean, for the most part, during the day is, I say we tend to hide a little bit more. So it will happen more like towards the later side of the day. But honestly, unfortunately, drug addiction happens at all times of the day.
And then when you mentioned anger management, I always see that your agencies are always working with the angry person. Mm-hmm. But is there any help for families? Like, how do I manage this person who, just flies off?
Right.
What are the steps that I can do to either avoid this person from, bursting?
Right.
Or especially kids again,
right.
They don't feel safe, which again creates anxiety for the whole family, but especially children.
Right.
Is there help for the victims of anger?
Yes. So, and Hope, we work with 18 and over, but a lot of the times the parents will come in and we'll assist them navigating again to like the correct agency. For example, there's like Binal Hispanic does work with youth. There's My Kid, who works with youth as well. Circles of Peace has worked with youth as well. What we do is we work, so we do have family support, right? Like the biggest person right now at the Center for Family Support is Rosa Lopez. I'm the director. So one of the biggest things that we do is education, kind of educating kind of like, okay, what is emotions? And like, for example, in this case, identifying that anger is a secondary emotion. So kind of like learning how to work with it. And then, but honestly, it's education and a lot of support. And for the victims as well, there is. I want to say Dr. Bejarano in Mariposa would be one of them that works with the victims. Circles of Peace works directly with the aggressor.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and then when you were talking about all the paraphernalia you find outside the library,
right.
I'm friends with Pete Aguirre, who cleans up the library in the mornings. Does he ever report on, like, the quantity of paraphernalia he finds, like, on a weekly basis or anything like that?
He has not reported to us, no. But we haven't actually asked him. So we just kind of come in after. We come in, we actually report to the library that we're there, and we're going to start the cleanup. We have the gloves, the mask, and everything, and we just do the cleanup of whatever's left over. And there's still a good amount.
And during the board report, I'm going to do a report on Books Save Lives through Alfredo Velasquez, the county school superintendent's office.
Right.
And one of the things that we've done, aside from asking librarians and teachers to participate, we've had many people from different agencies, because one of the things that is proven and researched proven
right.
is that people that read know how to control their anger. Right. And then people that read do not end up in prison or in these situations as much as non-readers. But during COVID, one of the things that happened is that it's very hard for adults to really know if kids are reading or not, especially if the measure of reading is a book report.
Right.
I can fake a book report on any book in the world, and any kid can do the same thing, So reading is a very introspective activity that if we as adults can learn how to really be able to tell if a person is reading and making connections, a lot of the anxiety is caused by feeling they're the only ones or they're alone. And so hopefully your agency and all the other agencies that work with young people will participate in the Book Save Lives training, because the people that have, and we've had people from, I think, every agency but my kid participate. They come back and they talk about the successes they've had, not just with kids, but with families.
Right.
And the people in these agencies, one of the things that they talk about is that they've begun to read again. And like I said, COVID really did a job, because nobody had books if you didn't have a library at home.
Right.
So thank you for your report.
Actually, I agree with Book Saves Lives. I did minimal reading kind of growing up. And to be honest with you, the first book that I actually fully finished myself, by choice, it was in Santa Cruz County Jail. Silver Lining Playbook.
Yeah, thank you.
But even after that, it's been a strong foundation for my recovery, because that's where I get my education. They say if you don't, and I have a personal saying, if you don't want to be a slave to something, like to addiction or to an emotion or to mental health, the biggest trick is educating yourself, right? And from right now, I honestly say Don Miguel Ruiz, The Four Agreements, The Mastery of Love, The Voice of Knowledge, The Circle of Fire, all these books have what's been giving me the power and the knowledge to continue to progress. So I agree 100% that books do save lives and reading saves lives.
Thank you.
Brianna,
No questions. Just thank you.
Marva?
Just one question. During your recovery, did you have Hope Incorporated available to you?
So actually, I was a member before I started working. So I was sent to jail December 28, 2017. The last time that I used was 4:40 p.m. And I know because I looked at my watch and I was like, I gotta go see my probation officer. I went to see my probation. I was arrested. So I was sent from county I was in county for 2 months and 3 weeks. And then I was given the option to go to treatment. And I went to CBI in Benson, which is where I was presented with peer support. The first thing that I told somebody is you don't understand what I'm going through. And they showed me their scars, because I still have all the scars. And they showed me their scars, and I was like, oh, you do know what it is. So when I was discharged from treatment, they recommended, so we used to be called Wellness Connections, and then we merged with Hope. But I was recommended by Santa Cruz County Probation and the court system to engage with peer support. So I started at Wellness. I got hired within a year. And then we were still Wellness when I got hired, and then we merged with Hope, which Hope is an amazing company as well. And then that's why we were like, yes, let's go ahead and merge. But yes, there was peer support services provided.
Anything else, Marva?
That's all.
Jerry?
First of all, I'd like to congratulate you for your recovery and your work, because the community needs it. And secondly, I happen to know someone who's getting services from Hope for the last year or more. He lost his housing and he had some other issues. And he's had a case manager. He has free rent now for a year, which is amazing considering the rental problems in Nogales. And he gets food from the food bank, and he gets transportation to Hope 5 days a week. And he told me he has an interview set up with McDonald's and so forth. So just from personal knowledge, I'd like to thank you for all the work that you do at Hope for him and for the community. And one other question, where does your funding come from? Is it the state
Yes.
Or-
So it's through Arizona Complete Health is most of the funding. So we work with the mental health block grant, and we work with the substance abuse block grant as well.
Thank you.
Brian?
Thank you. Well, I had two questions, but one was Jerry's. The second question is, so your address, your location is on Mastic
Yeah.
Way, but the homeless seem to inhabit downtown Nogales, around the park, around the library, for one example, and perhaps other. Don't you think it'd behoove you to have your presence downtown rather than, because if there's a homeless person in the park around the library, where you say, well, we think you should walk up to see Hope, up,
Right.
down Grant Avenue up to, and it doesn't really make sense. Don't you think you ought to have a presence downtown, a physical presence?
So it would be amazing. And actually, when we merged from Wellness to Hope, that's what we were looking, is kind of like, well, we need a new building. We grew. And so we actually took over what used to be the Corazon and then Ciba's building. But one of basically the way that we make the presence downtown is through the outreach team. So Jacob is his name, the SOR. So he does rounds and he drives downtown. So a beautiful thing about Jacob as well is, well, he's a peer. He was a member. And he knows the system in the aspect of, so he works really close with the shelter. He utilized the shelter as well. So he goes downtown and he knows these hot spots as well. And whenever he sees somebody, well, we go up to them and we offer them, like, hey, why don't you come to the center? Because we offer lunch every day at 12 o'clock, Taco Tuesdays, if you guys ever want to go. We do offer lunch every day at 12 to anybody. Our center has been used as well, like as a cool-off station, like in the summer. So people just go in and sit down, have some water, drink some coffee. At 12 o'clock, we'll give you food. We actually have a community closet where we have clothing we can assist them with if they need clothing, from socks, hygiene. In the winter, we have blankets that we provide to them as well. And then also they can meet with the housing coordinator as well. But that's the way that we're making our presence as well. It's just basically driving around, and as soon as we see them, try to make contact with them.
Thank you. So,
Luis, thank you very much. I hope this is not an isolated visit that you make. I hope you're more consistent to keep us updated. I think the subject matter was very informative, educational for all of us here, and I'm sure that the people who are viewing on TV will also find you as a resource and know more about, because I didn't know about Hope or anything like that, and it's good to know about these kind of community resources in the community, because sometimes we ourselves hibernate and think that it can't affect us, and it does affect us.
Right.
So thank you very much for your presentation, and I hope every other month or so that you can make arrangements with Denise and come back and give us updates and so.
We will be here of support whenever you guys need it. We are located at 1891 North Mastic Way. It's catty corner right there where Mariposa is at in PetSmart. Our phone number is 520-287-9612 for whatever assistance that we can be of to you guys.
And you said you're going to pass out some cards?
Yeah, I actually have some little pamphlets as well, as well as some business cards that I can leave here with you guys.
You can pass them out, or give them to Danitza here, and she'll pass them out to us. Perfect. Anna, do you have something else?
Well, Luis went to school with my son, so I feel it.
And with me.
Oh, yeah.
You were my principal.
Well, you got me off guard, because I said if you went,
Yeah, you were. Yeah.
I had to be there when you were there.
I played football with
I don't
your son.
recognize you with a beard, Luis. You threw.
I know. Yeah. That's it's the recovery beard. I started growing it.
Well,
when I
it's
started
good.
with the
It's
recovery.
good to see you, Luis. Thank you. Very nice presentation, Luis.
Thank you guys. Thank you for having me.
And just bring that stuff up here and come back more often, Luis. Okay? Thank you. Let's move on to item 4, Centennial Celebration Security Issues, Lieutenant Bermudez. Luis, don't forget your water. I'm glad you said that. I wouldn't have known. Thank you, Luis. I can recognize it with the beard.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So far in the month of October, Luis mentioned that we did have an incident, an overdose incident. Luckily, the person that was with them was able to get the Narcan and actually deploy it before even officers or paramedics arrived. So that person was taken to the hospital. Obviously, Luis helped them out. But other than that incident, there's been a couple of damages reported in the area, suspicious persons, but like always, our officers are there trying to see who's there, who shouldn't be there after hours. So they pass by, they see a subject that, as always, isn't supposed to be there. They make contact and have them move on their way, identify them, and if need be, arrest them should they find something criminal. As far as the centennial celebration, everything went well. The two officers that worked it last year were the same ones that worked it this year. So it's Officer Duran and Officer Soto. They both were there. No issues reported. Everything went smoothly. Everything was great. So as far as security issues, that's all there is for the month of, or for the past month.
I spent some time, Lieutenant Bermudez, observing the two officers, and here again, I mean, they're just best practices for interacting with community members. They are so good at interacting with the community members, the kids, the adults, and everything. I mean, it's just they create a friendly environment and taking down this barrier with community members who are, sometimes anti-police and this and that, but they did a wonderful job. Just created it was a positive event, and the police officers enhanced that positivity. Okay. So if you please relay the message to them.
I will.
Thank you. Brian?
No comment.
Jerry?
No comment.
Marva?
Thank you. No comment.
Brianna? Anna?
On. So the two officers there, again, were just outstanding. But I was there for a moment when a mother walked up to them, and she said, "My daughter would like to talk to you." And the little girl was nervous, and she said, "I want to be a police officer like you." Oh, it was just like, they were so, they gave her information. She must have been 7 or 8. And they gave her information and, talked to her about, staying healthy and being fit and eating the right foods. I mean, it was just the perfect conversation to have with a 7 or 8-year-old. And that little girl walked off and she was just beaming, So yes, thank you, officers. They did a great job.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear. Officer Duran is their officer, so she interacts with kids all the time, every day. Officer Soto, she's not new, but she maybe has about 3 years on. But she was a probation officer, so she does go out, has been out in the community talking to people. But yeah, they're wonderful officers, and we're glad to have them.
One of the things that I noticed, because I was walking around and kind of paying attention to what was happening, that they were super vigilant about people that came in and out, and people that stayed, people that didn't stay. And so they were incredible.
Good. Okay. Glad to hear.
Conclude, Anna? Thank you, Lieutenant Bermudez. Thank you for helping us at the event, the Centennial event. You coordinated everything extremely well, especially closing off that front parking lot early in the morning. Thank you for all your help. You contribute very positively to the success of the celebration. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Let's move on now to item 5, Centennial Celebration Recap. Ana Don and Brianna Rodriguez.
I want to start off by saying thank you to everybody that made it possible and for making sure that the Santa Cruiser was a big part of the event. It was the biggest event that the Santa Cruiser has ever been at. We gave away nearly 300 books, which meant that each student got 1 book. So we touched the lives of almost 300 families in the community, which is really big. It was very fun, very exciting, very heartwarming feeling to hear the kids say, I can keep this, or this is for me. Or another one that they told us was, I've always wanted this book. So it was very, very happy, very, very positive. A lot more people of the community learned of what the Santa Cruiser is. Most of the people said, what is this? What do you sell? We don't sell nothing. But it was just very, very good. A little not overwhelming, maybe overwhelming, but in a good way. There were so many people that we were like, oh my God, we can only fit like 20 people on this bus, you know. But very big thank you to everybody in the community who came out. I know that we stopped by at a lot of elementary schools all over the county and spread the word, and we did have some say, hey, you remember me? So yeah, it was very good. So
I like in front of the cruiser there, where you put little mini couches or chairs or whatever, and the kids were out there. And what I enjoyed seeing their parents reading to them at that time.
Yeah.
It was very nice.
Yeah.
With all the noise, but and the kids were paying attention.
yes, they were.
Thank you. It turned out very nice. Brian?
Wait, I'm the other part.
Oh, you're the other part? Oh, I thought it was just okay, you're a tag team president.
Yes, we are.
Okay.
We are. So Brianna was stuck in one spot, during the whole event, before and after. And though I was able to be in all corners of it and enjoying, of course, the people. One of the things that I noticed is there were people from all around the county, which was really endearing to me, that people would travel far just to be there. And the library staff, you did an amazing job of setting things up for everybody, the balloons, the music, the DJ, the dancing, there was so much community participation. And there was every generation there, and there was just the diversity of our community was so represented. It couldn't have been better. And so, I congratulate the board for the work they've done, but the library, and I loved your T-shirts, the library squad, because you were really easy to find, because there were a lot of things happening all at once, and it was all about having fun, enjoying books, and being at the library. So congratulations, and thank you, library squad, for your hard work.
Conclude? Brian?
Well, I want to just reiterate a comment I made to Mr. Kissinger there that afternoon. Is what I really one of the things I really appreciated about the event was the use of the park. Seeing the park being used for a community event like that, and hope that it can be repeated. That the city fathers would see the value of that piece of real estate and coordinate. Of course, it would have to coordinate with the library and parking and all the rest of the infrastructure. But it was a great use of that civic real estate. That's all.
Jerry?
It was very successful, and congratulations to everyone for their involvement, especially the library staff.
Marva?
And I would say the same thing, reiterate what Anna said about the staff. I was amazed when we got there and the friends only had to set up a table and everything else was totally organized. I want to share one little story. One of the little children that was dressed in costume. One of the children that was dressed in costume as a crocodile came by and chose Lyle Crocodile from our free book table.
Oh.
And he was walking around with it like this. It was very
That's a cute story.
Yeah.
That's a nice one. Those are nice stories. I'm glad you bring up the people that brought out these little stories. They help out and people understand all of that. Again, I echo all of those comments too. Danitza, it was very well organized, very well attended. There's a lot of positivity in there. And the comment about the real estate and the community using that is just so important that it shouldn't take a centennial. We should use it more often than just for a centennial celebration. So we could have more activities out there and everything. and the mariachi group was very nice. Everything just turned out very positive, and it was just the right amount of time there to be there and everything. Except I was just surprised when I left about 6:40, and there was still a long line to the food truck. I don't.
And the face painting.
And the face painting too, right? So everything was very nice. Thank you, Danitza, very much. Let's move on to item 6, board appointment for the city of Nogales in November. A reappointment of Marva Twaits. It expires this month. I just bring that out. Danitza has told me that there's just been one person who is? Two? Who are they?
There have been two interested parties, Cristian Hernandez and Santos Yescas.
Okay. Christian Hernandez and Santos Yescas are interested. Brian, can you just fill me in? I'm not too familiar with this here now. Does the board make a recommendation, or do we just get the 3 names and submit it to the city of Nogales and let them decide, or what is it?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I don't know how
I thought you would have.
No, I don't know. But if you have multiple individuals interested in joining the board, is that what you mentioned?
Yes,
Then I suggest you reread the bylaws, because the bylaws say up to 9 members, I believe, but read it to confirm that. So perhaps you could expand the board by a member or 2 if you wished. I don't know where you're going to sit them at this day, but
Oh, well, I can sit down here, you know,
but that's a minor detail. That's a minor detail. But you might be able to expand the board if there's interest.
Why don't I direct Danitza to look at and send us all an email and give us updates on that? And if it comes out that the board recommends something and I feel it necessary, I can call for an emergency meeting so we can make a recommendation. Okay? Danitza, will you get that back? And please do not reply all on that email when you get it. Just to Danitza, you reply to her on that. And then we'll decide, you can make your comments to Danitza that, hey, maybe we should make a recommendation in this, and then we can go from there. Any other questions, comments, or concerns? Okay, let's move on. Two-back repository. Brian.
Thank you. I just found my copy of the bylaws. It says up to 8 library trustees.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 7. There's 7 of us right now. So then that means.
Juanita.
Well, no, but I counted that chair.
And Ed. And Ed.
And Ed.
5, 6, 7, 8.
And there's 8 of us right now. Up to 8. Okay, so there's 8 of us right now. Okay, and let us know. And if you need a legal opinion, you know what to do.
Excuse me, what the bylaws say, there shall be at least 8 library trustees.
Then
At least.
let's
So there could be more.
decide right now.
Well, that's another agenda item. We're off the agenda.
Yeah. Well, right now we're under two-back repository. Now, if you can still talk about that, but I have to go back to item 6 on the agenda. Would you like for me to go back to item 6 on the agenda?
No, sir.
Okay, then let's talk only about the two-back repository.
All right.
We'll leave the rest to Danitza.
I again took another load. When I say load, it's the equivalent of about 4 boxes of books to the Pima County Friends of the Library last week. I was going to Tucson and made that. I encourage everybody else to do that. The Friends of the Pima County Library are open Monday through Friday, 9 to 12 for donations. They're open longer for sales, I suppose. But if you're going to take books, 9 to 12, Monday through Friday. I don't know if any other board members have had a chance to pull any books out from the different suggestions that were made last month. Or does any other board member want to comment connections with the consulate? That was an option, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
I know Marva's taking out an occasional box for the Free to the Library, and perhaps in this conversation she could see if that program is going to expand, if there will be another Free to the Library available. But, and then Denise and I are planning on meeting at the repository on Monday, and she can tell you what she would like to discuss with us at that time.
Whatever happened to the Consul General on those books? You were going to get in touch with him?
We did make contact, and we are working out on a schedule because I know they're busy, so we're trying to work out a schedule. Not necessarily with the consul, but people, the staff in the consul. So we're working on that. And to that, I just want to add that we're also working with Mr. Jefferson Laffey, who works. I think he's with at the superintendent's office at the moment, and he's an educator, and he has always been taking books and giving them.
Yes, I know that.
Taking them to the community, and I did invite him yesterday.
Okay.
So he's going to get back to me, and he's going to start looking through the storage.
Okay.
He's a professor for educational program
Okay.
in Pima College.
Uh-huh. Would you put that on the agenda for next month so we can talk about that? Jerry?
Nothing at this time.
Marva? Brianna? Anna?
Nothing.
Okay, we're all set with that one. On item 8, does anybody want to give a presentation, or do you want me to take? Okay. Item 8 is Library Friends Update. Marva?
I'll report for Ed. At the Centennial, we took 6 large boxes of books and we gave them all away.
All of them?
They were all gone. Yeah.
Oh,
And the other thing I wanted to report on is for the sculpture, we've received $700 as of this date that will go into the sculpture fund.
okay.
We'd like to receive more.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's all.
Thank you, Marva. Let's move on to item 9, discussion and possible action to approve minutes of September the 13th, 2023. Marva?
The minutes are ready for approval. I move that they be approved.
Motion by Marva to approve the minutes of September the 13th, 2023 as presented, seconded by Anna Doan. Discussion? Objections? Motion carried. Item 6, board reports. Current events summary must be brief and there cannot be any proposal, discussion, deliberation, or legal action taken. Brian?
No report, thank you.
Jerry?
Nothing.
Marva? Brianna? Anna?
I invite board members and the community to the Book Save Lives training. It's going to be at the library, October 21st, 28th, and November 18th from 8 a.m. to 12 noon. And then there is a part 2 for the people that have attended within the last year. There will be a part 2 October 28th at the library in the afternoon. And as Luis was saying during his presentation on the Hope Inc., this is an invitation to parents that homeschool their children, to teachers, to librarians, to all of our agencies, whether they have to do with children or, mental health, because it is very simple, doable techniques to get children to read and to get adults to create an awareness whether kids are reading or not. Because according to Daphne Russell, who does the presentations, a teacher from Tucson Unified School District in the areas of TUSD that I worked. And she says that if you can get a child to read 3 books independently, then they become readers. And one of the things that Luis said in his presentation is that the first book he ever read independently was when he was in prison. And so we want to give our community the opportunity to support children and help them become readers. There is no such thing as a love of reading unless you're a super nerd. And we're not asking kids to develop a love of reading. We want to help adults support kids to develop the importance of reading. That's it.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Verona?
Yes, sir.
Excuse me, I do have a comment to make.
Yes, sir. We'll go back to Brian. Brian?
Thank you. My wife is active in the Tubac Historical Society and constantly reviewing those archives. And she has found evidence, and I have this for Denitza, that there was a county library in Tubac in the 1980s.
Oh, well, that's good.
So she has got some newspaper clippings that make reference to that.
Okay, so you can report on that one. Thank you, Brian.
Thank you.
Item 7, Library Director's Report. 1, Centennial Celebration, October programs at libraries, and the solar eclipse classes. Danitza.
Ooh, I misspelled October. I just want to thank the board, the Centennial Committee, city, county, the community for coming out, and our teens. Our teens set up the programs, the big bowling balls and everything, and they were just, it was fantastic. It was great. Our 2 tutors were also there helping out, and it was just to reiterate what everyone else has said, it was great. It was just great to see all generations, everyone just enjoying the festivities. And we were talking about how many people were there, and there were over 500 people in attendance because of the food tickets. That's how we know. Because the food tickets were given out, and the children's coordinator and the cataloger let me know. So, yeah, and we also want to be using the park more. That was the whole, start using the park, make it more welcoming again. But it was great, and I do want to thank Nan Fitzpatrick, a former board member, because I know she was the one that started with the celebrations and everything. And we have 2 more celebrations to go in 2024, 2 back in Sonoita.
Good.
Oh, and October programs at the libraries. We are having this week, we are giving away solar eclipse glasses at the 3 libraries in Tubac, Rio Rico, and Nogales. There's a partial solar eclipse on Saturday. And today we have a program explaining the solar eclipse at the children's area. And on Friday, we're going to have an event with the teens. But you could still go to any of the libraries and just pick up the solar eclipse glasses are free for anybody that goes in and just asks for them. We will also be having a Halloween costume contest at the children's area, a Halloween teen dance. I just have to get the date. This week on Friday, the teens are going to start their gardening club. And there's going to be, it's October 13th, the 20th, and the 27th. We have arts and crafts on Tuesdays. I know Rio Rico's also going to be having a Halloween contest, and there's just a lot of activities, just if I can't remember them all, they are on Facebook, or you just can call the library and they'll let you know. And that's it for now.
Okay. Number 2, staff updates, homework, tutors for Nogales and Rio Rico Library, and library supervisor resignation.
We have 2 tutors that were hired. Diana Ochoa will be the tutor for the Rio Rico Library, and Alejandra Villa is the tutor for the Nogales Library. Their hours are going to be Monday through Thursday. Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday, it's 2 to 5. And on Wednesdays, they are going to go a little bit earlier since school gets out earlier. I still don't know the time yet, but it will be an earlier time. As far as the library supervisor resignation, Denise Ortega did resign. She did give her 2-week notice, and we have already put the position out to request to fill internally. We will be interviewing on Friday. This Friday, we will have interviews.
Okay. We're all set. Future agenda items, Brian?
Question first on the previous item.
Okay.
We're going to have a mentor/tutor in Sonoita, correct? And
Correct.
assume that because of the renovation construction, that's being held back. Can you give me any details?
Yeah, and there were 2 applicants that were from Sonoita, and they were asked by HR if they were interested in the positions in Nogales and Rio Rico, and because of the distance, they said no. Once Sonoita does open up, hopefully in late January, that position will be put out again, so we can have a tutor there. Mm-hmm.
Very good. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I have a comment.
Go ahead.
I really want to thank the library for keeping up the Facebook page, because when I run into kids and parents and stuff like this, I always say, like, I don't know, I'm not sure, but look on Facebook and you find it, and they always do. So that's great. Thank you.
Okay, item 8, future agenda items, Brian?
Yes, I have 2 future agenda items. One is to put on the agenda the expansion of the library board of trustees, if we want to consider adding a member, make it 9 members rather than 8. The second item I would like to see on the agenda would be the expansion of the Rio Rico Library, a preliminary discussion.
conclude, Brian?
That's all, sir.
Jerry?
I had a question for Denise on her last comment. Was in the past, there's been a tutor at the Housing Authority.
Okay, hold on, Jerry, hold
You
on.
didn't,
Jerry, no, let's go back to that item on the
let's
agenda.
go back, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, now we're back on to item 7, number 2. Jerry?
I just had a question. I think you just said there are no tutors at the Housing Authority. Is that correct? Okay.
And will there be? I don't know for sure.
Okay. Now, Jerry, you're on for item 8, future agenda items.
Nothing at this time.
Marva? Brianna? Anna?
Nothing.
Okay. Our next meeting is scheduled for November the 8th. In case that something happens with this thing on the appointment, on these bylaws, that the NHTSA comes out or something, that we want to recommend 2 or 1 person or whatever, and I need to call for a special meeting, is there any problems with that with anybody? Because it'll be probably I'll probably make it on a Wednesday at 10:30, just so we can get everybody's input and everything, okay? Because we're kind of in a timeline, because Marva's term expires at the end of the month, so, and we got to get it to the city council right away for their November meeting at the first week of November. All right. Yeah. Go ahead.
We have a special meeting.
Anna, I have a question for you. It would be great, I think, for the board to hear about Book Save Lives from Daphne. Would she be available for the November 8th meeting or maybe December's meeting?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to see her Friday, and I can ask her to come to the November 8th.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn this meeting at 11:39.
So move.
Motion by Anna,
Second.
second by Marva to adjourn this meeting at 11:39. The meeting is now adjourned.
Thank you.